All right, it's book review time. I'm going to show you some stuff that is rarer, not mainstream, but super mega awesome. And we're talking stuff that's like not SJW infested Democrat sci-fi. Like this stuff is at the same time it's not like, you know, white supremacy or kill all women or anything like this, right? There's tons of awesome characters of all types. It's not like evil racist whitey book, or some crazy stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know where people get this stuff, but anyway, what I'm trying to do here is preserve awesome books that you're rarely going to hear from other mainstream kind of sources, because there's a lot of stuff going on in science fiction and fantasy and horror and all this stuff to kind of like, let's just say there's a little smell of political molding going on. It doesn't smell good. So I'm going to throw you guys some of the books that I think are awesome, regardless of your political stripe. Maybe I shouldn't even put the politics in here, but I'm just trying to give you like a feel for how like this stuff might be not as ballyhooed as some other more popular stuff that's garbage because of this like marketing political dealio that's like so prevalent these days. And you should not miss these treasures. These are awesome books. So the first one is going to be The Great Explosion by Eric Frank Russell. It's sci-fi comedy. I don't want to like, it's not a piece of, hack work. This is like a great book that's written. This book can be like enjoyed like 100 years from now. This is a classic. I think this is the kind of thing that should be read in school, right? This is like what I wish they gave us in school instead of all this Jane Eyre and other, garbage, right, for literature. This is the book. This is the old school hardcover, right? And yes, we are low-tech webcam here. Try to get this as close and hold it as still as I can. Eric Frank Russell, The Great Explosion. So instead of giving more opinions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read from the book a little bit. And this is like something I think, this is my little new innovation, right? It's got 188 pages or so. I'm going to go to a random number generator like Dungeons and Dragons people use and generate a random number, which is 43, and just read you from page 43. How do you like that for like non-pre-planned, non-canned stuff, right? Maybe this is going to work. Maybe it ain't. But let's see. Watching from the control cabin, they saw the trooper march down to the beach and exhibit the bribe. Some four-sided conversation followed. Then he came back. The phone rang. They say they'll take denim, sir, plus 3 pairs of boots like mine. They also want my trumpet. Holy smoke, said Shelton, outraged. We're dickering with the frowsy descendants of thugs, like Arabs haggling over a carpet. Who do they think they are? Tell them, ordered Captain Grader. 3 suits of denims and nothing else. That's the bargain. Take it or leave it. Back traipsed the trooper. The ultimatum caused a good deal of discussion in the boat. Finally, the oars dipped. The boat came to shore. One man stepped out. As the trooper led him toward the ship, the other 2 put out their oars, retreated to what they considered a safe distance, and waited. Presently, the newcomer arrived in the cabin. He had a skinny frame, sharp darting eyes, and the sharp darting eyes of a wary monkey, and looked rather like a racing tipster dead out of luck. Next chapter. Grader began the inquisition, mostly because the others were content to let him. Sit down. What's your name? Tor Hammarverd. What's that place on the island? The Hammarverd Keep. Keep? Don't you call it a stronghold? That's a foreign word. Is it really? Whom do you call foreigners? Where do they live? Far away over there, answered Tor Hammarverd, pointing eastward. Have you ever been there? Not likely. One can find trouble enough without looking for it. Then said Grader, seeking a clue to even the most rudimentary form of planetary communication. How do you know that they use this different word? We got a few foreign women by trade. They often use that word. Do these women permit themselves to be traded of their own free will? Hammerford obviously viewed the question as ridiculous. What else do you expect them to do if they don't like a man in their own keep? Don't your women pick and choose? The ambassador interjected. Let it pass, Captain. We've already gone over the subject. It's the same here as elsewhere, and that's enough for us. Changing the subject, Grader eyed the other's crude attire and asked, What do you think of the clothing we're giving you? Top notch, replied Tor. We can do with lots more and some boots. He gazed hopefully at the audience. Your ship has been sent here to fix us up with supplies? No, we haven't, informed Grader. After all this time, it's been taken for granted that you've got yourselves pretty well fixed up on your own account. There's been nothing to stop you that we can see. All it is needed is organization and work. Nobody's going to organize us, declared Hammerberg positively. Nobody's going to make us work either. We wouldn't stand for it. To hell with them. The listeners exchanged glances before Grader went on. Seriously, have you never heard it suggested that there is virtue in work? Sure have, Hammerberg let go a reminiscent chuckle. Samuel the Good, he called himself. Samuel the Goof was his proper name. Always prating about honesty, truthfulness, and such like slobby stuff. Practiced what he preached, too. Worked like a slave while half the keep rode on his back. His brains were addled from birth. What happened to him? He died of exhaustion, still yapping his stuff. He'd have lived a lot longer and easier if he hadn't been crazy. Nobody listened to him? Only for a laugh. Everybody works on Terra, Grader said. I can imagine. Do you believe me? Does he work? Demanded Hammerberg, pointing at the ambassador's large paunch. I certainly do, assured the ambassador. You look it, said Hammerberg. My work is extremely important, in case you didn't know. You don't fool me, Fatsky. Grader chipped in hurriedly. If you doubt whether we work, how do you think we made the superior clothes we're wearing and the ship that we're using? You've got slaves, millions of them. And we're here because our forefathers refused to be slaves. They chose freedom, see? That is news to me, observed Ambassador with some sarcasm. What is? That they had any choice about coming here. To the best of my knowledge and belief, they were ship-hered by compulsion to expel Earth criminals. If that's the best of your knowledge, Fatsky, your worst must be terrible. Stop calling me Fatsky, insisted the ambassador. I'll call you what I like, Hammerberg retorted. You're not on Terra now. Neither are you, thank heaven, said the ambassador. Now Sheldon put on his toughest expression. If you don't see fit to be polite, we won't see fit to give you the promised reward. Don't get hard with me, you bleary-eyed punk, said Hammerberg. It took me for granted that the promise might not be worth the breath you wasted on it. Again, Grader broke in to keep the peace. If you doubted that you'd get the clothes, why did you consent to come aboard the ship? Because we wanted to know why you suddenly decided to look us up after all these years. Those are reasons of high policy. That's a lot of double talk, scoffed Tor Hammerberg. Want me to tell you something? Go ahead. If Terra thinks the time has come to start trading, that's fine. There are a lot of things we could do with. Right now, we'd swap 10 tons of fresh lizard meat for a few starter guns, spares, and ammunition, for instance. You interested? No. But if Terra's idea is to start some funny business, you can all go stuff yourselves. You're not going to transfer us up to yet another planet. Neither are you going to walk in and confiscate this one. We're here and we're staying here, just as we are, and we're taking no lip from Terrans. You couldn't make 1 million of our ancestors lift a finger for you, and you won't make a far larger number of us do it today. And who authorized you to speak for the entire world? Asked the ambassador. I'm speaking for the Hammerberg Keep. The other keeps can do their own talking, but I'm sure what they'll say. He made a gesture of contempt. The Mullers and Yantoffs are mentally retarded, but even they aren't dopey enough to start doing chores for Terrans. Has it ever occurred to you, asked Grader, that someday you might be taken over by a people who aren't remotely like Terrans? Such as who? Some alien life form with territorial ambitions. Such as who? Hammerberg repeated. It remains to be seen, Grader evaded. We'll believe it when we see it, said Hammerberg. By then it might be too late. That's our worry, not yours. I forgot how funny this book is sometimes. But anyway, this stuff is a how. I mean, I don't know how to. Basically, the gist of this story, I don't want to ruin it, right? But the gist of this story is that a real weirdo, right? A guy that cares nothing except being levitating a penny in front of a crowd as a magician would, right? That's his life ambition. And for like 75 years of his life, he works as a librarian and just tries to levitate this penny. And then somehow, with something that's like not science, that nobody understands, he does it. The penny takes off through the roof with a hissing sound, right? And this becomes the basis for essentially a faster-than-light warp drive, right? And then, since there's this drive, they can take you anywhere you want, and they find using this drive with scout ships, tons of planets way out there, all the dissidents of Earth pile onto a ship of their own and zip on out of there, right? Or they're put there by the government, like this group is, the first group of criminals. And then there's questions of, okay, is criminal hereditary or environmental? That's just, there's actual science fiction in there. But it's really funny because there's the military, which is, like the Marines. Then there's the Navy guys that are kind of like the ship hands. And then there's the bureaucrats that are kind of like the subordinates of the ambassador that's supposed to go out and reclaim all these colonies. And none of these colonies want anything to do with Earth. So anyway, the comedy gets, bigger and bigger as you go on. And this is written, I don't know, this guy's writing style to me is just super awesome. It's like really, really funny. And it's a little bit like old war movies in that like people give each other, crap about stuff. But in the end, they kind of got your back, right? So it's kind of like it's cool like that. Whereas they'll screw you over, but they'll kind of like have your back at the same time. And that's missing from a lot of modern books, that kind of like undercurrent of camaraderie among the troops or the whoever's, even if it's the Navy versus the Marines where they hate each other. Like, if they, once they're getting done kind of pranking on each other, then they help each other out a little bit, right? But the other book here, and I don't know, I've given 2/3 of this. I'm already 11:30 out of this 15-minute video. Maybe we should, you know what, we'll save the Dying Earth for the next one because I'm not going to make it in 3 minutes or whatever it is. What I'll do is I'll do another random number generation here, and we'll go to another page, 110. You D&D people love that. I think we're rolling for the page. We're rolling! Right? This isn't pre-canned. This is like, we're just like giving you what's up. This is real, right? It's real. Relieved that life was a full, abundant, and apparently free from alien disease, Grader brought the ship down on the first hard standing he saw. Its enormous mouth landed feather-like on a long, low hump amid well-tended fields. Again, all ports became filled with faces. Everyone had a look at the new world. Midway airlock opened, the gangplank went down. As before, exit was made in strict order of precedence of importance, starting with the ambassador and finishing with Sergeant Major Bidworthy. Grouping near the bottom of the gangway, they spent the first few moments absorbing the sunshine and fresh air. His Excellency scuffed the thick turf under his feet, plucked a blade of it, and was so constructed that the effort came close to his athletic feet and gave him a crick in the belly. Earth-type grass. See that, Captain? Is it just a coincidence, or did they bring seed with them? Could be either. Several grassy worlds are known, and almost all colonists went away loaded with seeds. It's another touch of home anyway. I think I'm going to like this place. The ambassador gazed into the distance, viewing it with pride and ownership. Looks like there's someone working over there. He's using a little motor cultivator with a pair of fat wheels. They can't be very backward, it seems. He rubbed a couple of chins. Bring him here. We'll have a talk and find out where it's best to make a start. Very well, Captain Grader turned to Colonel Sheldon. His Excellency wishes to speak to the farmer. He pointed to the faraway figure. That farmer, said Shelton to Major Haim. His Excellency wants him at once. Bring the farmer here, Haim ordered Lieutenant Deacon. Quickly. Go get that farmer, Deacon told Sergeant Major Bidworthy, and hurry, His Excellency is waiting. Bidworthy sought around for a lesser rank. Remembered they were all inside, cleaning ship and not smoking by his order. He, it seemed, was elected. Tramping across the 4 fields, he performed a price military halt, released a barracks square off of high U, and waved. The farmer stopped his steady trudging behind the cultivator, wiped his forehead, and glanced casually around. His indifferent manner suggested that the mountainous bulk of the ship was a mirage, such as are 5 a penny around these parts. Hi, he bawled. Stopping at the cultivator, the farmer leaned on one of the shafts and idly picked his teeth. Anyway, this is to say, to make a long story short, the farmer, is like, whatever, right? So I got to stop because the video is going to end it. Anyway, Eric Frank Russell is the guy's name. The Great Explosion. It's super howled. Give it a try. And I literally have this book like I've probably read it like 6 times. It's that much fun. It's just a screaming howl every time through, and you forget how much fun it really is. Anyway, highly recommend it. Check it out. You might be able to find it at a library. Good luck. Otherwise, check out bookfinder.com.